So, should you pay off your mortgage? Well, that's a really good question. But before we get into it, please smash that subscribe button, click on that notification bell, and like this video as it really helps to support this channel. Okay, so should you pay off your mortgage? Well, the answer is yes and no. Okay, let me explain. The thing about paying off property, whether it's the place you live in or an investment property, is that for most people, it's an emotional decision. This is something you cannot ignore and therefore must be taken into consideration as it affects the way people think. It's much easier to make decisions about stocks and shares and other investments that are not property because we are socialized and conditioned to feel safe and secure when we have property paid off. Whether it's our own home or an investment property is something that's ingrained in our society. Most people see the elimination of a mortgage as a huge milestone in their life, after which they can be free to pursue all the things they've dreamed of. However, for those who can overcome their emotions, there are other options worth considering. Firstly, you need to analyze your property's financials. Is your home an asset or a liability? The difference between an asset and a liability is that an asset pays you income, whereas a liability costs you money. If the property in question is your primary residence and you pay a mortgage, then your home is considered a liability and not an asset. If the property in question is a rental property and the rent pays all the bills, including the mortgage, resulting in a positive cash flow, then the house is considered an asset. So why is this important? Well, if you have a rental property that is producing a positive cash flow, then the property is contributing to your income and net worth in multiple ways. Firstly, you are benefiting from the positive cash flow each month. Your house may be appreciating each year, and you're saving taxes by potentially deducting the mortgage interest from your income. You may also be able to deduct repair and maintenance costs from your rental income as well. If the house in question is where you are living, then it's a liability as it's costing you money each month with less tax advantages. Now, you can still get the benefit of the appreciation over time, but this will only be realized when you sell your home, or if you decide to get a home equity line of credit. However, this will increase your monthly expenses as you'll be paying for your mortgage payment and your HELOC payment. In the meantime, you are responsible for all the costs of the property until the mortgage is paid or the property is sold. If you have a rental property that generates a positive cash flow after the mortgage, property taxes, and insurance and maintenance costs are factored in, then it's not really costing you any money to maintain. In this situation, it does not make financial sense to pay off this property as it's already not a burden to you. Paying off this property would be more of an emotional decision rather than a financial decision, depending on what stage of life you're currently at. However, if you have a mortgage on a house you live in, your house is costing you money each month because it's a liability. Under this scenario, and for your own peace of mind, you might consider paying off the mortgage so you can live debt-free without that mortgage payment. The second question you have to ask is, what are the terms of your mortgage? If you're on a super low interest rate of say less than 3%, then you are controlling your mortgage at a very low cost. However, if you have a high interest mortgage and you cannot refinance it to a lower rate, then it might be worth paying off your mortgage to save on the high interest payments. The bigger the difference between the interest you can achieve on a cash investment versus the interest you are paying on your mortgage, the stronger the argument to not pay off your mortgage, but use the extra money to invest over the long term. Also, if you're over 60, it's probably prudent to pay off your mortgage regardless, providing you leave yourself with an emergency fund for those unexpected situations. Now, if you can stomach the idea of not paying off your mortgage, then let's look at some other options. Option 1, we pay off the mortgage entirely, assuming house prices increase by 5% a year. Our property would be worth $1,044,000 after 25 years, which is a pretty impressive sum. Now let's look at option 2, where instead of paying off the mortgage, we use the additional money to invest in an asset returning on average 8% per year. After 25 years, our house is paid off and the asset has grown in value, giving us a net worth of $2.7 million, a full $1.7 million more than option 1. The downside to this option is that the mortgage is not immediately paid off. However, because your extra money is invested in an asset that is very liquid, you have the option at any time to pay off the mortgage before the 25-year term. Although this would reduce the full benefit of the maximum return. With option 3, we take the additional funds and buy another property for the same price. We then take all the profit from the rental income and invest it in an asset returning on average 8% per year. After 25 years, this option results in 2 properties that are paid off, a net worth of $3.1 million, a property you can live in mortgage-free, and another one that you can rent out mortgage-free and use the rental income as retirement income. Now I know what you're thinking, if you rent out a property, you would expect vacant periods when you are not collecting rent and also repair bills that are not taken into consideration. This is all true, but what I have not factored into this equation is increases in rent over 25 years. This should more than make up for the vacant periods and repairs, considering we are using a fixed interest mortgage in this example, which should remain relatively static while the rental income should increase over time along with the rate of inflation. Clearly, the third option results in the greatest potential gain with almost 3 times the value of just paying off your mortgage in option 1. However, it also involves additional work, as you would have to be a landlord and the majority of your money would not be as liquid as in option 2. So to summarize, there is no right answer to what is the best option. It all depends on your own personal goals and your own personality. But I think illustrating the possibilities can be a helpful tool in making the right decision, as each option could cost you millions in the future. And you have to decide if the peace of mind that comes with paying off your mortgage early is worth the potential long-term loss of wealth. Now, not everyone has the skill to pick reliable tenants or the desire to be a landlord, which is crucial in getting a stable, reliable cash flow. Each person has to do what's right for them. This video is not trying to persuade you either way, but just to inform you of the basic maths. You have to be comfortable with any option you choose, and if an option causes you stress and anxiety, then you should consider choosing another option. Okay, that's it for me. But before I go, please smash that subscribe button, click on that notification bell so you can be informed when new videos are released. And like this video if you found it useful. See you in the next video. Adios.